Top 10 Best-Selling Books of All Time. Number 10. The Catcher in the Rye is a story by J.D. Salinger. First published in serial form in 1945 to 1946 and as a novel in 1951, this novel sold more than 65 million copies. Number 9. The Da Vinci Code is a 2003 mystery thriller novel by Dan Brown. It follows symbologist Robert Langdon and cryptologist Sophie Neve after a murder in the Louvre Museum in Paris causes them to become involved in a battle between the Priory of Sion and Opusty over the possibility of Jesus Christ having been a companion to Mary Magdalene. This novel sold more than 80 million copies. Number 8. The Little Prince, first published in April 1943, is a novella, the most famous work of French aristocrat, writer, poet, and pioneering aviator Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. This novel sold more than 80 million copies. Number 7. She, A History of Adventure, is a novel by English writer H. Rider Haggard, first serialized in the Graphic magazine from October 1886 to January 1887. She was extraordinarily popular upon its release and has never been out of print. This novel sold more than 83 million copies. Number 6. The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is a fantasy novel for children by C.S. Lewis, published by Jeffrey Bills in 1950. It is the first published and best known of 7 novels in the Chronicles of Narnia. This novel sold more than 85 million copies. Number 5. And Then There Were None is a mystery novel by English writer Agatha Christie, widely considered her masterpiece and described by her as the most difficult of her books to write. This novel sold more than 100 million copies. Number 4. Dream of the Red Chamber, also called The Story of the Stone, composed by Cao Xueqin, is one of China's 4 great classical novels. It was written sometime in the middle of the 18th century during the Qing dynasty. This novel sold more than 100 million copies. Number 3. The Hobbit, or There and Back Again is a children's fantasy novel by English author J.R.R. Tolkien. This novel sold more than 100 million copies. Number 2. The Lord of the Rings is an epic high fantasy novel written by English author and scholar J.R.R. Tolkien. The story began as a sequel to Tolkien's 1937 fantasy novel The Hobbit, but eventually developed into a much larger work. This novel sold more than 150 million copies. Number 1. A Tale of Two Cities is a historical novel by Charles Dickens, set in London and Paris before and during the French Revolution. This novel sold more than 200 million copies. If you liked the video, then like, share and subscribe to our channel.